It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hey, Obiajilu Ugo, how are you today?
I'm doing amazing. So I've been receiving clients for my coaching. It's not like I've been marketing. I haven't really had time to really talk about it. But clients have been reaching out, and mostly they've been coming for relationships. I know, it's my forte, but I ran away from it for a specific reason, because I just didn't want my own relationship to be on the spotlight. You know, like how we judge in Nigeria. So they will not be zeroing into the relationship. Are they living what they're saying? Is she living what she's saying and all of that? So I just left it. But over the years, I've seen that most of the clients that I have actually come to me for relationships. And we've been, you know, getting a headway on that. And I'm owning it to my chest now. I'm a relationship coach. I can't run away from it anymore because it's paying off. And I'm happy with some of the progress I've made with some of the clients. Our sessions are still ongoing, and I'm hoping at the end of the day, they'll be able to get, you know, something from those sessions.
You're a very tush relationship coach. You're kind of coach that I would want to come to. So please, you want coaches that they can relate to, so that, listen, you would understand. So I think, own it, man. You know you can do all things.
Yes, yeah, so true.
Amaka Fresh in the building.
I'm good. Imagine, where did the fresh come from?
Please call it into my life. Freshness. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. Nothing is happening, just work. Nothing exciting. Yeah, I really hope something exciting happens for the end of the week.
Month.
Yeah,
yes, I really hope something exciting happens
for
the end of this week.
Receive it.
Yes. I receive it.
How are you?
I'm good. It's my birthday week and birthday month, and I'm in receiving mode. I was telling myself yesterday that I just remember that I've not even, the month started, I did not even really do my standard post and be shouting birthday month. So before people forget that they should start planning my birthday gifts, let me announce on social media, announce to everybody, it's my birthday month, it's my birthday week, I'm in receiving mode. But you just mentioned coaching, and I'm doing a coaching, 6 weeks coaching on finance with my mentor, Christopher, and I. We're doing a combo coaching program that will help people plan their finances, understand how to invest into real estate and all of that. So if that's the kind of thing you're trying to do, then you are getting 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, so they got you covered.
Nice. I like the earrings. They're really small.
Yeah. Very small, too small. I can't even see them.
It's giving.
How you doing, Mariah?
Fine. I'm very well. It's midweek, you know, quite a bit to do, but I'm grateful to God, you know, everything. Yeah.
Before, you don't usually have gist. Now, since you became MD like this, the gist is just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking.
But she's just preparing us with this her hair.
As it is.
The hair went through a journey, but it has got to the right place.
Yeah. Let's go on a short break. We go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. ECOWAS forced to battle terrorism in Nigeria and others. 2024 oil bid round for only investors with technical know-how, says local bureau. Rivers ABC directs lawmakers to impeach Fubara. Oil firms to inject 50% export proceeds into forex market. NNPCL cautions against panic buying of petrol. Relocate people from flood-prone areas, NEMA tells 33 governors. Olubadan, coast clear for Olakuleyin. UBA consolidates with 110% gross earnings growth. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Can talk about the flood.
Okay.
Those living on flood-prone communities should start relocating now, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. And, you know, they've given the advice. They said they're also calling for the monitoring of dams, clearing of debris in the water bodies by relevant authorities to prevent blockages and the creation of detention dams. Now, according to the predictions and the outlook released by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, and Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, they said 33 states will be pounded by flood this year. They listed 25 of the 33 states and 72 local government areas with heightened vulnerability to flooding between last month and the next month. The vulnerability, according to them, said will persist from July to September and affect all the 33 states and 135 local governments areas that were identified as high-risk areas. Now, between October and November, 19 states and 44 council areas will be affected by the flood as well. So Mrs. Zubaida Umar, that's NEMA's Director General, was calling for proper sensitization campaigns in communities that would be affected. It's proper that people understand what is they tend to have from the flood, and also make arrangements to relocate if they have places that they need to go to. This is also a call to state governments to, if your name is mentioned among the people that will be expecting high flood, find a way to relocate your people for the meantime, and they can always come back afterwards.
Okay, so I'm excited about this story. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Local Heineken, said yesterday that the era of giving oil blocks to politicians is over. He said the 17 oil blocks, if you recall, I think it was last we saw in the papers that 17 oil blocks are up for bidding. Said that they said the 17 oil blocks for sale under the 2024 bidding round are for investors with financial capacity and technical competence. Dr. said that the reason why 90% of the fields that have been given to politicians is because they don't have the technical know-how. Now, many of them are coming back for renewal. He said that time where we're giving to politicians is over. We're only giving to companies who are competent, who have the technical know-how, and have the financial capacity, capability to ensure that the government is able to generate the required revenue from those oil blocks. So we have noticed a lot of idle blocks and little or no investment done on them in the last 3 years of acquisition. I can tell you that 90% of owners of these blocks are seeking for renewal without commencing or investing in them. So these are politicians, and they're no more giving it to politicians, giving it to people who have the capability to do it.
So the CBN, banks were thrown into confusion on the 1st of May because people were bringing in the charges that the CBN had agreed that they would be charging on deposits. But the CBN has released a circular. The charges, if you make a deposit, will still be extended till the 3rd quarter of this year. So from now till September, you can deposit your money in the bank. What usually would have been obtainable would be 2% will be taken off 500,000 naira if you were deposited as an individual, and if you're a corporate entity and you deposit above 3 million naira, you would have had to pay 2% charges. And some banks started charging that on the 1st of May. But the circular has come out to say from Mr. Adetono Adedeji, the Director of Banking Supervision, that the suspension that was implemented as of December last year will continue. It will extend up until 30th of September this year. So this should be good news for those who are already worried about other bank charges. And I wish we could just preempt it. If we're going to extend till December, let's just extend it from now till December and focus on other policies that will have quick impact on the lives of Nigerians.
Okay, so we have Nigeria and other West African countries battling terrorism receive support from a standby force to be formed by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. It unveiled plans yesterday to raise $2.4 billion for the establishment of the standby force. ECOWAS Commissioner in charge of Political Affairs, Peace and Security Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa broke the news yesterday. He said that we are faced with nightmare of having one of our member states being completely occupied by terrorist groups. He commended Nigeria for not letting, for degrading Boko Haram terrorists and not letting them take roots in Nigeria, and also that they really tried in establishing peace and security so far in Nigeria. He also stated that Mali, they also had a training, capacity and research development of the ECOWAS standby force and general peace and security within the sub-regions of 3 countries. They had Ghana, which Nigeria, Ghana, and Mali was part of, but Mali was obviously absent. And it was being said that maybe Mali was absent because they are part of the country that decided to withdraw from ECOWAS recently. So basically,
it was because of the Burkina Faso being totally ravaged by terrorism.
Yes.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. FG rubbishes Binance CEO's bribery allegation. FG woos global investors for 17 oil blocks. Abduction angers FIG reporters spent 7th day in police cell. Warnings of anarchy as APC demands for Barra's removal. Picture story here. Porn star testifies against Trump at hush money trial. Cybersecurity levy will worsen hardship, says Labour. Bullying. Police launch probe as Ekiti Varsity expels female students. and Ladoja withdraws lawsuit, clears path for Olubadan enthronement. Okay, so for those of you following international news, the porn star at the heart of the Donald Trump's historic criminal trial, her name was Stormy Daniels, testified on Tuesday about an alleged 2006 sexual encounter with the former president in a hotel penthouse suite. Trump, 77, is accused of falsifying business records to reimburse his lawyer, Michael Cohen, for $130,000 hush money made to Daniels on the eve of his 2016 election against Hillary Clinton, when the lurid story of the maritime infidelity could have sunk his campaign. So it was hush money, keep quiet, so don't go out and don't publish this. So the people called Stormy Daniels as Trump, who is seeking to recapture the White House in November, sat at the defense table in the Manhattan courtroom flanked by his lawyers. It was just good to hear her testify against Trump.
It's just interesting to see somebody do a trial against a former president.
Yeah, so
the porn star.
One more story before we go on the break.
Let me see if we have that time. No, yesterday.
Yes, so the federal government on Tuesday vowed to pursue the criminal case against the crypto platform Binance and its officials to a logical end. They spoke because there was a backdrop of bribery allegation made by the Binance Chief Executive Officer Richard Teng in a blog post published by New York Times. Top officials of the president described the allegation as false, saying that's unfounded. The accusation that some individuals demanded $150 million bribe in cryptocurrency to settle the criminal charge against the firm. So we know how the story has been brewing, how one of the Binance guys had escaped from, custody, and the second one was taken to Kuje prison, and they had said they will continue the case. It was supposed to be last Thursday, but now they have postponed it until May. Now, one of their executives had written that they got a call and said that they had to pay $150 million in cryptocurrency as bribe to kill the case. And so he wrote papers on that one, but the federal government is saying nothing like that happened. They're going to see this case to a logical end. The federal government is also hopeful that they have good evidence to, nail them. They also have an opportunity to, help them defend themselves according to the rule of law. So let's just see how this case pans out.
Go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Still reviewing Punch. Amaka?
All right. Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and bank customers have opposed the newly introduced cybersecurity levy by the Central Bank of Nigeria, demanding its immediate withdrawal. The NLC on Tuesday, in a statement signed by its president, Joe Ajaero, lamented that the levy, which was 0.005% cybersecurity levy on electronic transfers, was another anti-people policy of the government imposed amid economic hardship. Serap also gives Tinubu 48 hours to withdraw CBN directives on cybersecurity charges, saying that it is against the African Charter and Human and People's Rights International Convent on Civil and Political Rights, to which Nigeria is a state party. And they also called for the amendment of Section 44 of the Cyber Crimes Act of 2024. The levies so far would be for a transaction of 1,000 naira, they will charge you 50 naira. For a transaction of 10,000, you'll be charged 500. For 100,000, 5,000. For 1 million, 50,000. No, for 1 million, 5,000. For 10 million, 50,000. Serap called that such charges against customers would dissuade customers from bringing their money to the banks anymore or from bank transactions, and that in the current hardship going on in the economy, they shouldn't impose more charges on people, that they are giving the president 48 hours to make sure that those charges are withdrawn.
Okay, so I want to take the story about the FIJ. So the Foundation for Investigative Journalism and activists media, stakeholders, other Nigerians have expressed anger over the prolonged detention of Daniel Ojukwu, who is a reporter. He was taken away by police in a Gestapo manner on the 1st of May 2024 over allegations that a petition was written against him. They said the police force, the director of Nigerian Police Force National Cyber Crime Center, Uche Ifeanyi, on Tuesday said the reason he hasn't been released on bail because the bail condition hasn't been met. But the activists have been protesting. The reason he's being detained in the first place was because he was investigating a particular story, and that the story involves the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development, and that the petition was alleging that an amount called 147 million naira was, which is meant for building schools, was deposited into a restaurant's account, and that when this particular reporter released that information was when a petition was written against him for a cyber crime, maybe based on his investigative journalism report, and he's been arrested, and his bail conditions are stiff, which is why it hasn't been met. Of course, the office of the OSSAP SDG has denied the allegation as false, and that they are not in any way involved, that their processes have been transparent. But the human rights activist and former presidential candidate Showore on Tuesday said he met Daniel on Monday at the FCCID in Abuja and found that he was being detained by some high-ranking, very influential people in the political class.
Okay, Daily Sun.
Justice.
Fubara risks impeachment as APC woos lawmakers. Killings, reps mandate Chief of Army Staff, IGP, to beef up security in Uzo Awani. Asari Toru people thank Tinubu, Wike, for George Kelly's appointment. Serap gives Tinubu 48 hours to withdraw CBN directive on cybersecurity levy charges. Government kill 3 in Edo, kidnap 13 in Abuja community. UTME, JAM alerts candidates on activities of fraudsters, mischief makers. Akpabio picks holes in renaming of prison to correctional centers. And Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, real component to GOP, $11.174 billion. Okay, let me start with what's going on in Enugu State. If you recall, the killings and incessant killings and kidnappings in that Nimbo, Upanda, Ugboli, and in Uzo, Uwani local government area of Enugu State has been happening for a while. And because of this, the House of Representatives has directed and mandated the Chief of Army Staff, that's Taurid Lagbaja, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, as well as the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, to deploy more security personnel to Uzo Uwani local government area of Enugu State, following all the attacks going on in that area. Many of them actually are saying that the terrorists, they are having a field day, killing people, opening fire on innocent lives, women, children, the whole community, killing them, especially when there's a local government. So they say that we need more security personnel in that area. Another lawmaker from Borno State, I can't get his name, Ahmad Jahab, said that there was no need for the country to tackle security if they can't even get help from other people. So he's actually advising that we should get mercenaries from other countries to come and help security operatives in that area. Because according to him, Jonathan tried it, and he was actually almost successful until Buhari came in and stopped the entire mercenary process. That is something that we can reconsider to support the Nigerian security within that area.
And also ensure we use whatever is working. So no need of cancelling and stopping because you're no longer in power. Yeah. So the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, has raised the alarm about activities of internet fraudsters and mischief makers who are out to deceive, mislead, and defraud gullible candidates that participated in the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. And so they are giving the advice that candidates must protect their registration details. They should not disclose any sensitive information to any person who might end up using them for fraudulent purposes. They also said that the attitude of the mischief makers will only help JAM to further tighten the process of checking their UTME results to make it more personalized and make it more stringent so that it's simple and straightforward and no other person would be able to get a hold of it and use it for fraudulent purposes. So he said they are also thinking about adding new features such as registration number to the existing UTME results checking process going forward to make it extra difficult for anybody to edit it. He said so far, none of their processes have been compromised. They will continue to protect the integrity of their systems against, such malicious people who are hell-bent on creating confusion in the system, but they have not been compromised yet. However, they saw a release of, a publication that a candidate who did not even sit for the examination had his results published. Also, they saw another one where they published that about 531 people had an additional result that was released. So JAM is saying that we've not released the additional one. We're still looking through to be sure that the result is good before we release it. And, they are going to do everything in their power to make sure that they make it very tight. Now, you may have to use your own numbers, registration numbers, to get your result. The only way you can get your result, said the current result now is not even on the website yet. The only way you can get it is by sending that UTME result to 55019 or 66019. That's the only way you can have access to your results. Yes, exactly.
The original one.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, I want to take the story of the Olubado. So we know that the Olubado stool has been vacant for a while. And the reason for that is even though they had brought up the nomination, the council of the Ibadan stool, I don't want to miss, Olubado in council had already brought up the name of Olakuleyin to be the new Olubado. They couldn't implement that even though they had sent their recommendations to the governor of your state. The governor didn't attest to that recommendation because there were pending cases that they need to meet and resolve all pending cases. Every case is out of court before he can then approve for the new Olubado, the 43rd Olubado nominated. So, and this case was brought up by Senator Rashidi Ladoja, the Otun Olubado of Ibadan and the former governor of Oyo State. He has withdrawn the case. He said the reason he put up the case was because he felt the Olubado in council, all of them had they're against him becoming the Olubado when his own time comes, and he wants to be able to ascend that throne. That was why he started the case. But now he has done a meeting with everybody, and all of them have signed an agreement to settle out of court, and now the path has been cleared for the new 43rd Olubado, if approved by the governor of Oyo State, to be to take the stool of his forefathers. They said everything was done in according to them, the Olubado chieftaincy declaration in 1957, and there's no need for any out-of-court settlement because they followed the rule of their own integrated system within Ibadan. I'm so happy. I wish all other stools can just have the declaration that there's no controversy. We know who will become the next.
Next person. Vanguard. Popular, the new masquerade actress, Valeria, dies at 81. Impeach Fubara now, Rivers APC, which is 27 assembly members.
81.
President Tinubu's first year in office, propelling Nigeria towards renewal, says Mohammed Idris, Information Minister. Controversy trails CBN cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions. FG removes signature bonus to who investors. And Tinubu returns today from presidency. States presidency. So the president has announced, the presidency has announced that the president will return from Europe today. If you recall, he had an appointment in Netherlands to meet with the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte over 2 weeks ago, where he then moved on to Saudi Arabia to attend the World Economic Forum. So then after that, there were speculations that where did he go? We didn't see him. Where is he? In France? Is he in UK?
Did he disappear?
Did he disappear? We're seeing also of this work. The presidency has said that he'll be back today, so they're expecting the president. Another story in Vanguard, moving on quickly to Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story of not taking helicopter operations, aviation ministry at loggerheads over landing charges. No more justification for stopping 35,000 naira wage award, says Labour. Proceed with Fubara's impeachment, Rivers APC tells lawmakers. Government abduct 13 Abuja community, demand 900 million naira ransom. And NNPC, we have over 1.5 billion litres of petrol that would last over 30 days.
Yes, okay. So you want to take the last story?
Okay.
So the organized labor says there's no moral justification for the federal government to stop the payment of monthly 35,000 naira wage award to workers. You know, we've had that conversation, and initially they said they were going to be paying it for 6 months. They later moved it till they are able to renegotiate the new minimum wage. So Mr. Etim Okon, the president of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, said, you know, in an interview that it's worrisome that workers are yet to receive their monthly wage awards for March and April. And there's a misinformation going around that the 35,000 naira wage award was only for 6 months. And so he's making it clear that that wage award, according to what they had signed October 2nd, 2023, in the Memorandum of Understanding, is that they will continue to pay till the new minimum wage is going to be implemented, and there's no moral justification for them to stop the payments. So the government needs to pay the outstanding March and April salaries, understanding that a lot of people are still going through hard times as a result of the removal of the fuel subsidy and other things that we are paying for now.
I want to take the NNPC story because...
Okay, yes. Trouble is looming in the country's aviation sector as indications that emerge that helicopter operators are resisting the federal government's directive that they commence the payment of landing levies to its concessionary, Messrs. Dynamic Concepts Limited. They're also trying to call in, they're also saying that the charges are too much and that this might enable them withdraw their aircrafts. But the federal government, it's also saying that this enables them monitor helicopters' activities closely, improve security, and address the issue of unknown helicopters operating within the Nigerian space.
Okay. We have to wrap up now. I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we want our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a story that caught our attention of a mother who went to her child's school, accused the school of sending her child home because her child was late to come to school. I think the child got to school at 8:30 a.m. And she took on her phone, tried to record, accusing the school, obviously, why would they send her child home? This principal or maybe the teachers were trying to grab this phone from her, and she accused them of trying to take her phone, and she kept throwing abuses at the school that they were wrong for sending her child home for different reasons. The fact that sometimes she brings her child to school, sometimes the school bus takes her child, but it seems in this case, her child came to school herself, and then the school sent her home maybe without anybody accompanying the child. Either way, the video has gone viral. Some are praising her for being the mom of the year. Others are saying what she did was inappropriate. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-24-163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I saw that video, and for me, it was quite disturbing and because, hey, personalities are different. But the truth is that we understand people make decisions out of the whim. You know, you don't think sometimes when you do things. But let me start with your thoughts on the video, when you saw the video and how it came across to you. Let me come to you, BC. What are your thoughts when you saw that video?
Okay, so first of all, when I saw the video, I felt the school had done the child wrong by sending the child away at 8:30 a.m. I used to be a classroom teacher, and there's what they call grace period. So if the school is starting for 8 a.m., you have grace period for like an hour, which takes it to 9 a.m. And when you don't see any particular child in class, you put a call through to the parents. We haven't seen so-and-so child in class. What is going on? You do that. Now, if a child comes in, because we are starting for 8, if a child comes in by 8:30, 8:45, 8:50, that's the grace period. The child is allowed into school and allowed into class. Whether the child has come alone, or students, in this case, come alone or brought by a parent. Because we also understand that our school buses sometimes run late. We have a lot of children in the school bus. Sometimes they get to school 9 o'clock. Sometimes we're calling. The bus will be saying we're still on the way or there's traffic. And they get to school late. Who chases them back because they've missed 8:30 or missed 8 o'clock? Nobody does that. The idea is to educate these children. Anything could have happened to make them come late. It is not your duty to send them back home. That's not why they are there. They could also come from homes where they are the ones taking care of themselves. They are not able to do things on time. Anything could happen. You just get to the root of the matter by asking the parents, why is your child consistently coming late? Is there anything we can do to help in this case? Not just sending the child home. Now you sent the child home. You did not ask the child if there's anybody at home to receive the child. You don't know where you're sending the child. You don't know the sort of environment the child is living in. If you have sent the child home and then there's a pedophile sitting somewhere in the compound and decides to molest the child, what would you say? Because the child came late? Is it a crime to come late? We have meetings as adults. We run late sometimes. We come late. Nobody chases us back home. It's not a crime to be late. You can just find, like in my secondary school, growing up, it was a public school. When you come late, you are not sent back home. They give you something to do. You do a chore in school, a punishment, before you're now admitted in class. And so because we don't want to do that punishment, we do as much as possible to, come to school early. Why sending a child home and you're not sure what's happening in the environment? Why didn't you call the parents? What sort of talk is that one? We'll talk about the woman later.
So my thoughts, the goal of what's the goal of a school? To educate a child, right? So if you send a child back home, that means you've not achieved the goal. That's one. Secondly, like what BC said, buses run late, parents can be in traffic, your car can break down, anything can happen that can make a child late for school. Maybe that child might have throwing up or be running a temperature that morning. Maybe the parents decided to stop by at the pharmacy or the hospital before the child gets to school. It's 8:30. They should, like she said, there should be a grace period. Why throw the child out of school? Give the child something to do, a chore, and then if it's something that is consistent, then you can now inform the parents that you want to see the parents in school and find out why the child is consistently late to school. You don't just send the child back alone. You don't know if her parents have gone to work. You don't know if, anything can happen between the time, if not even at home, between the time she leaves the school and time she gets home. An accident might occur. She might be abducted. Anything can happen. And you as a parent know that you've sent your child to school. You believe that your child is in school. They didn't even call you to inform you that they were sending your child back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Your thoughts on the video?
My thoughts on the video is there's a right way to do the right thing and a wrong way to do the right thing. So from the first face value of the video, I'm like, why record a video? Like everybody now, because we have phone and we have data, we have turned to journalists and reporters and we are documenting the moment. I do not believe that there was no cause for recording video. There is a cause for having a conversation. And you are an adult. You don't go and rant. You can be angry, controlling your emotions and express your dissatisfaction with how the school managed your child. Not you go there with a video and you are shouting and cursing and using foul language and causing pandemonium in the school because you want to show that I will make you go viral, I will call the name of your school. Calm down. Calm down. If they do something bad, you do something bad, does not solve the problem. If you feel what they've done was wrong, the way you handle it is a template your children will use as well. And this is the template that has gotten us where we are. This is not the way adults handle challenging situations. You find that the school has done something wrong, you will go there, have a conversation, ask them the school can apologize, that this is a wrong way to handle it. That is even if the school has not let you know that 8:30 was the cutoff time. Because if the school tells you 8:30 is the cutoff time, my children primary school, the gate is locked by 8:30. Gate locked by 8:30. If you don't get your child to school by 8:30, they should not come to school. You drive them back.
What about the buses?
That is a primary
children that go on the buses.
Now, secondary school, they get there in time. If they get there late, they would have picked them up in time. Something happened on the road. If you are coming late, you would have called the school that I'm coming late. There was a time we had serious traffic on the way to school, and I had to call the school. I knew they would close the gate that we are coming in late because there's traffic on the way. Secondary school children, why are we doing like they are? Because our children are so butter. My children are in JSS1 now. My husband is insisting they go home by themselves. The part of me that is so sheltered parenting, I don't want them. I'm always going to pick them after school. My husband said, no, I've given them transport fare. The school is within the estate. Let them walk by themselves. These children also, this person went to school by herself, probably left the school early, was strolling and doing all of that. If there are no repercussions, we will take advantage. There must be repercussions. So if the law in the school says, if you come after 8:30, go back home. Then you not disobey.
I think on this table, we agree that the school sending the child home is wrong.
Very wrong.
We agree on the fact that there are ways to handle this kind of situation.
Yes.
Either you delay the child, you punish the child, or the parent. There's got to be a way
to do
that.
Yeah.
However, the manner in which the woman recorded, that's where I have a problem with, because I felt it was uncouth, uncivilized, because by recording, and that's what that for me, how I see that, It's like the Nigerian problem.
Okay.
When we see something, we want to just scatter everything. That's why it also reflected in our elections. When somebody just come and fire everybody, scatter everywhere. They're all thieves, scatter them. Forgetting that after scattering, what happens? So if you do a video like this, and all the children, all the parents quickly remove their children from school. We hate this school now, all of us. Go 500 children, go home. We're not using our school, let's have a different school. The kids are out of school. Teachers will be fired, they will be out of jobs. So what exactly is what are you trying to achieve by doing that kind of video? What exactly is because of this your child that was sent home. Now you want to destroy a heterogeneous school, recording primary, secondary school, all of them, look at them, foolish school, bad school, crossing at the school. So what should the parents do? Take their children home?
So first of all, the life of a child, of one child, is worth everything.
Nigeria, yeah, okay.
The life of one child.
Absolutely.
And apparently the school did not pay attention to nurturing that child for whatever reason. I like where she went to, the cutoff for school. What about cutoff for school bus? Now you made an excuse. The school buses may have run into traffic. What if the child had run into traffic? What if something had happened to the child before she went to school? So if you are giving grace for one, you will give grace for the other. Your job is to nurture these children, not just academically, emotionally, as long as they are in your care. You take care of them. Now, you talked about how she handled the situation. If she did not do this video, what topic would I be talking about today? Another topic. Would have found another topic. All our topics come from people who, probably for the sake of having evidence, you don't know what has been going on in that school with this particular parent. It's possible because we know sometimes when you bring a matter to school, they find a way to hush it because they don't want a bad publicity for their school. They find a way to gaslight you. Now, no, we don't do this in our school. That's usually like the first response. I've been a classroom teacher for a very long time. I know how these things work, right? She may have done that video for evidence so that tomorrow you don't come and say it never happened or we never sent your child away. There could be a lot of reasons why she had done it. I don't believe in raining curses, which I didn't hear, but you people said you heard some words, yes. So I don't believe in raining curses.
You tell us that you hear what you want to hear.
Yes, honestly, I didn't hear the curses. I just heard that she was telling the guy, don't touch my phone. You have no right to touch me. I can make a video here and all of that. That's what I heard. So I didn't believe in raining curses, right? But I also would not tell a mother how to react when a harm is about to come to her child. I'm not the one to sit here and tell a mother, you have to be safe. It's my child we're talking about. When I'm dealing with an adult who is like me, I can, take my deep breath, try and be civil because we are adults. We're talking about a child. You will not tell me how to react when it comes to my child. She could be reacting out of, and let me also make something clear. People react most times out of fear. It's fear. The underlying cause of anger or pain or any emotional trauma is fear. So how you handle fear is different from how I handle fear. You, in your fear, may be rational enough to, okay, let me count my words so that I don't get into more trouble. Another person in their fear would say, it has already happened. What is the worst that can happen? Let me just say it how it is. Okay, so I will not blame her. We can always find a way to have a conversation later on to say, madam, it wasn't like this and this and this. These are the rules of the school, and this is how we can work against it. But for you to, if they had not fought her for making that video, she wouldn't have started ranting.
Okay, so let me come. We've on this table, we've invited a few schools who have had issues. And the school come here to complain because it's like the worst, it's like the last option, result they can take. When something happens like that, as a parent, as a civilized parent, who's also knowing that your actions, remember you told us, many of us told us that your children learn from what you do.
Yeah, you're modeling. Yeah.
So you are modeling. So this happened. First of all, you write a letter to the school. This is what my child told me this happened. She was sent back home. Then nothing happens to the school. They're trying to hush it, as you said. Write to the parent teachers. There's a PTA. This is what happened. Get parents to put pressure. If you don't get away, we've had parents come here. We've tried PTA. We tried even the school board. We've tried the Ministry of Education. We've written to them. Now we're coming to the media. You see, the problem
if this child had an accident, Moriah, would I be writing a letter?
Okay,
would I be writing a letter? No, that's not realistic.
You see, if God forbid that child had an accident, yes, you do. I'm not against doing a video, but you do it with the repercussion that there's a problem, that something could have happened in case that there's a. I'm trying to find the word.
Moriah, can I wait, help me, Amaka?
Come in for a second.
Yeah, let me come in for a second. Yeah, let me come in for a second. So what all of you on this table has failed to acknowledge is the fact that the lady called the school when she saw her child at home. Something triggered this woman. She saw her child at home. She said she called the principal. The principal started raining abuses on her and cut off the phone.
Imagine.
And that was what triggered her to go to the school.
To do a video.
If the principal had taken time, maybe to listen, or to be civilized, or maybe to apologize to her, or to explain to her,
what
maybe
happened?
apologize to her and say, oh, madam, we're sorry. Maybe we tried calling you, or
We
tried
couldn't
reaching
get
your
you.
husband, or we couldn't get you. I don't think the woman would have carried that anger in that
the
manner
school.
to go to that school. She did the right thing, first of all, by calling the school.
No, I don't agree with you. Yesterday, I was talking to a client. I am, as much as possible, the sweetest, even when everything is happening around me. When I'm talking to, I'm like, this is my customer. I'm very sweet. The way the customer was talking, I had to raise my voice. Even though they were asking what's happening, I said, 25 minutes on the same conversation, like I wasn't talking to somebody that was hearing me. Over and over again, I was repeating, if you give heat, you will get heat. If you have a conversation, the same situation could have been resolved in a calmer way, depending on who the person talking is. Or you call the school, you say, how can the school send my children back? See, the first question we should be asking, is there a rule in the school that the gate closes by 8:30? Is there the rule in the school? Because my son used his laptop. His laptop was seized throughout the term in the school. I didn't like that. I'm like, why would you seize his laptop throughout the term? Give it to me. He said, no. There was a school rule book which they read and they signed. If you use your laptop outside ICT hours to do outside school activities, your laptop is seized throughout the term.
That's a different case, stop there.
Knew the rule. And
That's a different case.
If the rule says the gate closes by 8:30,
That's a different case.
the rule book says the gate closes by 8:30, and if the gate is closed, the gate is closed. And you come after 8:30.
Is it also possible to talk about that, even the past parents? Because when I was talking about repercussions earlier, what I was thinking in my head is that, as a parent, if I'm sending my child to school, it's possible that I already know she's going to be running late. The child who's walking to school, I know there's a problem. Even you as a parent, if you calculate the time I'm leaving the house, the time you get to school, there's a possibility that the time you get to that school,
You're late. Yeah.
Either you call the teacher ahead, I'm sorry, something happened, she had a running stomach, she's running late. There has to be communication.
Yeah.
So the truth is that we don't know all the story.
Yes.
There could be a story from the side of the family, story on the side of the teacher. We would like to hear from the school also.
Yes.
But I agree with you. It is wrong for you to send a child unaccompanied.
Oh, that's it. It's wrong. Yes.
However, how the second parent, how the parent address that issue is a problem for me.
Yes, so it's a problem. Yes, so we know that in this part of the world, and I don't know how we're going to ever get to that point where we're civilized enough to have quiet conversations and get a headway, right? But we know that in this part of the world, what people are afraid of more is a show of force. So when you want to handle issues in this manner, like the way she called the principal, and the principal was trying to shut her down.
Imagine her countenance calling the principal.
No, hold on. See, I am the one aggrieved.
Does not matter.
Morayo, I am the one aggrieved.
Yes.
I am the parent of the child who you have, excuse me, who you have sent out of your environment. Anything could have happened to her. And I raised my voice. It is your job as it was that customer-client relationship to calm me down.
Exactly.
However long I want to do the shouting, you have messed up. You calm me down. Madam, please. Madam, can you hear us? Is there any, okay, can I call you back at a later time? Madam, calm down. Let's talk about the situation.
Don't tell me to calm down.
Don't tell me to, I can say it 15 times.
15 times, exactly.
I am wronged in this case because it's my child in question. If it was an adult, it's a different thing. You can handle yourself.
I don't know how we're going
my
to
child,
move forward. I don't know how we can get to that situation.
I beg. When they do after your picking, go and be speaking English.
Because many of us travel. You'd go to Singapore, you go to
They fight too, excuse me. They will not send your child out. They will not send your child out.
What I'm saying is that everybody can be uncivilized. We can all be civilized.
Yes.
White, yellow, green, blue, everybody.
Yes.
But you see, the reason why many of us admire certain communities,
They do the right things.
They do. The people.
Yeah.
Not even the constitutional authority. The people decide and agree to be civil. Because the school can give laws. If the people, the teachers and the students refuse to obey the law, they're wasting your time.
Civility is not sending a child out into the streets. That's not civility.
They will never
That's
do
not
that.
civility, so they will not do it.
I don't understand.
They will not.
They will not send a child
Short break would right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing now because it's causing a bit of a heated debate here, which is understandable because we are different people, different adults, different decisions we make in our various lives. But for me, it's still how we move forward. I understand the society we live in, as BC said earlier. The only way you get things done here is shouting. Nice people don't get things done. It's those who are crazy, scatter the ground, yeah, scatter, hey. That's when things get in Nigeria. But fine, you get that interim solution. But when you now scatter the ground, what happens? Because I was trying to understand what the parent is trying to achieve by posting that kind of video. If I was going to do a video for every day, which is what BC said earlier, no problem. After I go to school, I accuse them. Why did you send my child home? XYZ reasons. And then I do a recording. I'm in school right now. My child was sent home, not recording, not crossing out, not putting people's faces, putting people's lives in jeopardy, because right now, even your child, you put your child's life in, not life in jeopardy, but your child can be teased in school. Oh, that's the child that her mother was there recording, going on social media, because you are making things worse, you're aggravating the situation. When you do that kind of thing, post on social media, we all cannot do this self-help. Because you aggrieve my child, I will post you and I'll scatter everywhere. To what end exactly? Now, thank God it's not a situation whereby the child got into an accident. This is something that can be redeemable, that can be amended, that can be fixed. How do you fix it? That's what a parent who's trying to train their child and raise a civilized child. How do I fix this? By not scattering it to other children. The other time we're asking, something happened in a different school. And said, shut the school down, close the school down. I think, okay, close the school down. This matter can be investigated. You can extract it and investigate. But you can't shut the school down because there are also kids there doing their exams, taking their classes. You can't shut the whole school down because of one situation. So we also have to choose not to be selfish when we're trying to resolve our own personal issues. That's how I see this video.
There's another angle to it, like I kept saying. If there is a rule, if we have a rule and an agreement that is signed, that everybody knows, that this is the system here. If you have come late, this is what will happen. The gate is closed, you cannot come in. It's a different thing. Is it that the school isolated a girl to witch hunt her or to punish her against other people? Investigate. Is it that this girl that they punished, they're sort of been bullying this girl before, and I want to come and fight the school for what they are doing to my daughter? Totally different thing. She mentioned that if she was the one that took the child to school, because an adult is there, if I take my child to school late, I call the school to explain to them ahead of time that we're running late. When I get to school late, before they open the gate for my school, and I'm saying this as a primary school, if a girl can walk to school by herself, she can walk back home by herself. There are risks involved, which the risk should be addressed. And the hope is not to just punish the school. The hope is to change the structure so that such things will not happen again. So if I have that conversation, it is this school, this thing is risky. What you did is terrible. I had a panic attack. I was about to leave the house. Other children, what if this happened? I think the policy should be changed. In case the policy is already written down, that if anybody comes late, what you will do is you will call the parents, come and pick up the children, or you give this kind of punishment for them to do. Then you can change the system to better everybody long term, not just to scatter things immediately they happen. We need to stop this. I want to go and share for them. Nigerians like them. If I go there and I share, they will know they see what has hit them. And then people on some comments too were saying this is motherhood. It is not motherhood. I know that I'm a mother, and I pray we feel like, oh, if it doesn't happen to me, I will be myself. The pressure will reveal content.
Let me take Abdul Rashid from Kaduna. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Okay, good morning, all. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
My name is Abdul Rashid Ibrahim. On this subject matter, I think it's imperative to know that it's different from our days. How often do children even repeat classes now? But during our days, children that did not perform better repeat immediately. Now, if they repeat, the parents will go to school.
Oh, yeah, the school is not allowing them to repeat.
Yes. So the school management now should also take, we are in a very dangerous society. You send someone child home and something happens. You bear the cost. So it boils down. Also, the parents they feel so much entitlement that we are the ones paying the running of the school, so we can do as we wish. So sometimes deliberately they will allow their kids go to school late and blame the school authority for taking action. So that's just my little thought.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There was a point that BC made earlier that I'd like us to... Oh, I just lost that point. It was an important point. She said, I lost that point, but let me take a few comments on social media.
Yeah, so
I'm going to write it down. This Otumba Karim said that I'm an educator and I totally, I'm very professional. The school is dangerously wrong. Sending a little child home could lead to many complications, kidnappings, accidents, lateness of child. The school is a function of so many factors. Schools should realize that for every law, there are some exceptions. Of course. The moment the child gets to school, the school gate, the school takes responsibility. Then number two, the woman acted as a typical mom but went on overdrive. Such issues should be sorted out in the office. Some teachers may result to avoiding the child later, and that may also not be good for the child. It's not everything that should be on social media because internet never forgets. Yeah. Something. Go ahead.
Because what I wanted to say, which is what he also said, that for every rule, there are exceptions to those rules, right? And then for a school to have a rule, you should have checked all the possibilities surrounding that rule before you make it a policy. It only makes sense that you say you want to close the gate by 8:30. You should have factored in the fact that what if something happens, what if car breaks down? You have to factor in all the indices before making a policy and create the exceptions to that rule. The mother also said that there are times when the school bus comes in at 10. And so that means there's a precedent, there's a history that there are times when the buses come in late. And do they send the kids back home? For the fact that we need to understand where this woman's anger stems from. Her anger doesn't stem from the fact that her child was sent back home. Her anger stems from the fact that she was not informed, and that's what was the possibility if somebody was not at home, and what would have happened. We need to understand where her anger is coming from, right? And the school needs to, like the man said, the school takes responsibility once the child gets to that school gate. And there should be other punishment or other ways to
100%. I agree with you on that one. Like that. Dr. Sunday from Oshogbo is calling. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate this morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm a lecturer and I've been a teacher. Both at Nigeria and Ghana, and I know that when the school is interested in enforcing rules, sometimes they can be careless, like this thing in question. Yes, the school has not done well, even though they have the rules signed that they have to focus time. They should have nothing to do better than they do. At least in the school that I was a manager, we have a great thing that once the child comes to, that's where it's going to take them to the end of the day. When you come and pick him there, you go to class. I'm not going to send him back for her back to you. If you have brought the child yourself, you take him or her back. But if you come to you stay there. You will not have any problem for that day. The parents know that and they make sure that the students come on time. But for the mother to not go to school for the ranting and the saying making a sin, it's totally intolerable. We should condemn that. Everybody just find that action to examine what happened very well. That was not how to address it. And the school, the time the guy was coming, every school happened to the child on the road when he was late. So if we are saying that something that will have happened, the time was late, and now nothing happened. So we should try to see how we are going to
Thank you very much, Dr. Sani.
Not making.
Thank you, Dr. Sani. I think I can wrap up. I think we've pretty much said all our points. Let me wrap up with Engineer Jibola Tijani's comment, which I think is a perfect way to wrap this entire thing up. He says, good morning, Mariah. We are not observant around ourselves over the years, and we are losing what binds us together, which is love. The school is trying to instill discipline, should do it with love. And as a custodian of these children, should do more to de-escalate issues like this, which is what you said earlier, even from the phone call. It is like teacher-parent relationship has broken down and turned to we against you. These two entities are stakeholders in the lives of these children, and they must collaborate together to ensure the lives of these children are better for them, for our nation in general. The hate in our society is so enormous that you can see this on our roads among motorists. When you are late to the airport, you are sure to miss your flight When the airline delay your flight, you get nothing, not even an apology. Assuming the child became ill in school, will the school send the child back home or call the parent? Both the school principal and the parent need intermediary, that is, education ministry, to amend this sour relationship, and it's in every fiber of our society. There's so much hate, anger, even driving, pass them, crush them, move them. What are you? What is that? What are we looking for? Kilo labor, what are we fighting? Everybody's we're ready to fight. Battle ready. In school, in swimming, in church, at home, on the road, at the airport, we are constantly battle ready. This exam, this tool has enabled us to be constantly recording and posting because we want to fight and scratch it down. So I totally agree. The school is wrong, 100%. And I think even there should be a review of policy across board because there should be leeway, as BC said earlier. There should be grace period, no doubt about that. But the woman's action for itself, for me, is irresponsible. But some people say, hey, she's been a mother. That's how mothers, so you can't judge how a mother reacts. Understandable, no problem, it's fine. A mother can overreact. You should understand a mother's pain, no doubt about that. But as we are understanding pain, let's also have in mind how to also consider civility in what we do. I think that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move to our next segment. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So another topic this morning that caught our attention on social media was actually on an X. And it was a man that posted a video of 3 sisters who allegedly seized and refused to release the corpse of their late brother to his wife and the children for past 5 years. And this happened in Nibo, Awka South Local Government Area of Anambra. Nibo. South Local Government Area of Anambra State, where the 3 sisters and their late brother hails from. It was gathered that 3 sisters who operate a prayer ministry seized up the entire property of the late brother and denied the wife and her children access to them since 2019, when the deceased died after the protracted illness caused by an accident. Now, there are various levels here. Issues of culture, issues of the role of the wife in the home, the role of the husband, because a husband who has full control of his family can make certain arrangements or empower his wife enough to take certain charges, even if he's alive or dead. And also the role of the family in this whole. What are your thoughts on this? Because, I mean, one of the things I like about this is that we try to educate and learn from each other. So you can call us on 081 0761 679 0902416340. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. The burial me I know, usually, it is the wife that takes full charge when somebody dies. I've heard stories where somebody dies in Lagos and somebody will come from the village, either from the north, from the east, from the west, come and carry the corpse and say, no, the person must be buried in their home. Especially when the husband says, or the person says, I'd rather be buried in Lagos. There's always that back and forth. And then there's always the conversation that, no, the wife is in charge, or no, the head of the family is in charge. In your own areas, how did you take this story? Let me start with you, Tokwe.
Culture, the thing is, we have not defined our culture. And for some people, they feel they've modernized. But yet, the culture still has a very strong part to play in how we do our things, how we do weddings. I was talking to someone who wants to get married, and they said because she's the first daughter in their culture, she needs to get married in the village. Her father has nothing to say. She is the daughter of the family. The husband-to-be must travel all the way to the village to seek the hand in marriage. It can't happen. Even though the father was like, in my heart, I want you to do it here, but I don't even have a choice. My hands are tied. These family members, they went to go and see the village. She has never heard them before. They've not even come to Lagos before. They don't even know her. But the culture is for you to get married as the first daughter from this village, you must go to the village to do the wedding
related to the
ceremony.
a couple of days ago.
The cultures, you must understand, you can't fight the culture. There's a particular burial that should have taken place. The person died since last year. They've not buried. Why? They said the woman did not participate in her husband's burial. And so they cannot bury her in her father's house. She was buried in her husband's house. And they must go and do the right. So the children now have to go and do the right that the mother did not do when she was alive before they can bury her. So there are cultures that are seemingly complicated, but they were originated for a reason. They were originated for a reason, because sometimes if you don't see yourself, you might marry your cousin. You might marry your family. People have gone far and wide. So there are many reasons that culture came up. If the culture does not repress or dehumanizes, it's a culture I feel like we should continue. But if a part of that culture is repressing or dehumanizing, then we can review it. So in this case, this is not just about culture. In the case of this one, I feel there's a bit of oppression in this. 5 years is too long, especially when they've taken over the husband's property.
Which mug will take it?
If it is just that they took the cops, but they also took over the husband's property. So I feel there's oppression.
So it's the sisters now that held on to the cops and refused to release to the wife.
Somebody said they are calling three witches. I don't know, but they own a prayer ministry.
And they own a prayer ministry.
So I think. Yeah, from Anambra, this is
yes. So I think no. So I think this stems from religion rather than culture, right? Because if there are three women, or
the religion of wickedness.
Because if they actually run a church.
It's a prayer ministry.
Okay, prayer ministry. Yeah. So I want to believe that it's coming from that angle, right? Not necessarily culture. Because 5 years is such a long time. And we can tell that there's...
My sister, and she's on the religious angle. Which part of religion?
What I mean is that they might be coming from, you know how people use spirituality to oppress other people and bully other people. Okay. So I think that's the angle they are coming from. They're using spirituality to oppress this woman and her children, because
let me rephrase my question to you. Yeah. In the culture in Anambra, is it possible for the family to seize a corpse and not allow the wife buried the...
So this is not about Anambra. This is all over Nigeria. Okay. Or this is Africa. People do that. And I don't believe any culture in Anambra or any part of Nigeria allows anybody to seize anybody's corpse. Yes. I believe that when there's a family unit, husband, wife, children, the wife or the husband is the person that's in charge, that has authority over the spouse's corpse, right? So in situations like this, most times you find out that because the woman is crying or mourning, the brothers or sisters step in, right? And then most times it's not the wife or the husband that takes that corpse to the mortuary. It's supposed to be. But then they'll feel like, oh, you sit down at home, you just lost your husband, let's carry the body to the mortuary, let's get a sign, because now person will sign in that corpse, we sign them out. That's just the policy of all these places. I can't sign in the corpse and another person will not come and take that corpse. They won't release that corpse to that person. But usually the reason why wives are not in charge of their husband corpses when situations
of the mourning period,
because they are busy crying. And that's why they always say in the African setting that if you lose a husband or you lose a wife, this is not the time to cry. Calm down. Especially when you know the kind of family you married into. Especially when you know that you have three witches, like they just said, as sister-in-laws. You should calm down. Arrange everything that you need to arrange. Check for the documents. You have children. Make sure that your husband's corpse has been put in the right mortuary, that everything that they're taking care of him. Go and visit the corpse every day to make sure that they're not putting him on the floor.
Now mourn.
There's time. You have a lot of... You've lost your husband. You have plenty time to mourn. You should take charge when something happens. Yes. No, but I'm a lawyer and I've seen so many things happen and I've heard so many stories, right? Yeah. So I will always tell people that that's not the time to mourn.
Interestingly, when my mom died too,
you gave us the story of your auntie.
Of your auntie.
Yes.
That came in.
Yeah, that one.
About the clear your things.
But when my mom died, I was in operational mode. Even till now, I've not had time to cry.
To mourn.
I've not had time to mourn because whenever I think of her, I just move something else. But the truth is that entire season, I was in the work mode. To how do we get the burial?
Yes, we saw that.
I was just working.
We saw that play out.
Emotion until after it finished. Then I calmed down, but I still haven't mourned. So I hear you. When you lose a spouse, it's not time to cry. It's time to take charge. I totally agree with that.
So now that she was crying and then the three witches swooped in and decided to take the corpse. So what's the issue? Is their brother now? Let them chop the corpse. What am I going to be dragging corpse again? He has died. He's not his corpse. The corpse is the package that he came with. He has dropped it. His soul has gone. So why am I dragging corpse? You take it now. Don't even call me for the burial. I don't care. Since you want to be crazy. See, it's not... nobody has the monopoly of madness. We all can be mad. But sometimes we just choose to, for the greater good, just step down and take a lot of things. And you see when it comes to all of this culture, especially with the very traditional cultures where we have the umuada, those kulagwe, those people sitting down and waiting for them to, they've caught you now. Shebi, your own has died. It's time to deal with you. You were high flying in Lagos. You were high flying in Benin City. Now you have come to the village. Let us show you Pepe. Sometimes they forget that what we're dragging, we're really not dragging anything, because at the end of the day, nobody is getting out of here alive. Nobody's getting out of here with anything. So why are you seizing onto a corpse
5 years
of somebody that has died and you claim you love your brother? Because what I see here is sometimes some of these families are very pretentious. So while the person is alive, they and they are claiming all of those things. You really know the family you are married into when one of the spouses die. That's when you see their red eyes. And then you forget all the love you claimed you had for either your son or your daughter. And you now start, again, sometimes they extend it to even the children, the orphans.
Why do we even put that value on that corpse? I mean, I like what you said earlier. Why, as Africans, and I think I also like what you said, that it's not just in one state, because here Anambra has been highlighted, but it happens across the country. We put so much emphasis on the corpse. Like, give me the corpse. Let me go and bury my dead. Let me go and bury. The person has already gone.
Yeah.
Whoever chooses to bury, go
yes.
bury.
You know what? Let me give a little insight to that. Yes. Aside from the sentimental attachment, most human beings do not see beyond the physical self. All they see is that all there is to you is just this. They don't see beyond. And so when something happens and they have to lose because you have put all your hope on the physical, you think you have lost so much and you are grabbing onto what is not. So when you hear some people who now understand beyond the physical self, how they handle things, you hear people who say, I don't need to go and be spending so much on a burial. I'll give you a decent burial. I will just, buy that, get that corpse. It's not because they don't love the person. It's because they understand that everything I'm doing for me, not necessarily the person. The person has gone. Whatever you are doing in the burial, the person has gone. You are doing it for your ego. So that they will say that in this burial, we killed 17 cows. Did the person chop one cow from you while the person was alive? So it's the emphasis we put on the physical self. And so we need to move away from that. I've always said on this table that culture is a way of life that we all created part time to help guide our lives. And we need to constantly review this way of life and take away the ones that no longer serve us. There were some cultures we had to come up with because at the time it worked for us. It protected us from certain things. But now, with changing times, it's no longer protecting us. Why are we still clinging on to that? Because we see that as our identity. This is who we are. So if we remove it now, we don't know who we are again. No?
Again, on all sides, there are issues. Issue with the three sisters. Issue with the witches. Also claiming. Wants to say,
she should relax.
After 5 years.
Give them their cups. Let them chop it.
You cannot move on because you are feeling bitter, injustice. You feel like you've been trampled upon. You built life with your husband, and then suddenly somebody comes. One, she has lost her husband, and then she has lost every property that she built with that husband, and she's left with responsibility. And the coach in me will say, if you don't push that aside, you will not move on. But the human nature of us will be like, you want closure. You want people to say that you didn't just trample on me and just go like that. You didn't just, I'm a human being, you're a human being, and because you just feel like, because there are three of you and you have family support, you can then just take over everything I've worked for. So there's that pattern, and as long as she remains in that place, she will continue to complain, even if it will be 10 years, she will continue.
She hasn't let go.
She needs to give herself closure without their apology. Because they might never apologize. And they might even die before they apologize. And you cannot pause your life until three people realize how wrong they are.
Yeah.
Because whether they are wrong or not should not pause your own life. So I feel really bad that she's in this situation. what we've drawn as lesson is that we will at least, if anything happens now, open your eye as you they cry. Let your eye be open this side they cry. Pack all the documents as you are crying.
If you can pause the cry, pause it.
Before anybody will now take these documents, even with parents, because we're talking about it from this perspective of spouse. Even if someone's parent dies, now those who they cry, now they steal too.
Yeah.
So you have to open your eyes and be present. And if you don't get forgiveness, still move on. You have children now. This woman should, yes, leave the dead body has gone. Carry the spirit of your husband
with
and
you.
Raise your children and build wealth. You don't need a man to build wealth. You will take care of the children by yourself.
Okay, so for me, this is the time when community comes into play, right? The role of the community, yes, because I want to believe that this man came from somewhere. Even if, let's say, he's not from, okay, say he came from, they're from Nibo in Oka South. Even if the man doesn't even have a village, or it's like the people that don't go to the village, or is in Lagos. But if you've lived in the community for so long, community has a say at every point in time. Let me speak for where I'm from. I'm from Onitsha. Man, I'm a proud Onitsha woman, right? In Onitsha, before how they used to do the what's that thing they do the night before, the waykeeping. Then they wear all the ashwebi and stuff. They stopped all these things in Onitsha for burials because they feel that you should not impose so much hardship on the person or people that are mourning, who have suffered loss, who want to just bury their dead. So they've cancelled all you cannot even feed people during the burial. If you don't want to do all these things, if you not say that, okay, we've arrived, okay, we can afford it, okay, we have the money, then come and pay a fine to wear a shebi. Come and pay a fine to cook food.
You can redefine culture.
Yes, so you can redefine. That's what I'm talking about.
They changed that in Asaba too.
Yes, in Asaba too. Come and pay fine to do. Yes, to do all these things.
So like you have to pay that before you then go.
Yes, if you want to. If not, come and bury your dead
quietly,
and everybody goes. But if you not say you want to do it the big way, so you pay. Arrive now. You pay for it. You pay to wear.
Pay government.
You pay government. You pay all those things. That is how culture should evolve, so that you don't oppress people.
Exactly.
It can start here, but you people like it. So when I went for my grand auntie's burial, because I grew up in my hometown Asaba, and I saw how burials were done. So when I now went for my auntie's own a few years back, everything was just hush, hush, quiet. There were no umada collecting rice, collecting money. There were sometimes they will stand you, kneel you down, you will do some rites. I didn't see that. So I was talking to my dad. I said, Daddy, what happened? He said, no, the Asaba of Asaba made a law.
Yes. Imagine that.
That you don't do this. You just, if you insist, like you just said, you have to pay extra to the government. Exactly. The burial was so quiet, so done, and all the children came from Lagos. They've been in Lagos all their life. Everything, by next day, everybody was going back to their place. Yes, everything was well planned. You don't eat. You're not even allowed to eat there. You take your takeaway packs. Yes, it was neatly. I was so impressed
because the culture was very.
It was it was very impressive.
She said, party people.
You people like it,
party. Tomorrow you're okay. Your body will shake everything. You're all right. But let me take this couple of us. I'll stay in your life. Thanks for calling.
Oh, sorry.
Going back to this poor lady who's found herself in this situation, when you were talking about the community, I feel like we should be able to, there must be when you have, in Yorubas will have bales, they will have obas, that if you feel an injustice has been done to you, you can seek them out for traditional things. At least they understand the traditional things. While if it is a legal thing, like property being taken over, you seek out the court, you go to the court system.
What I know about the Igbos is that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that everybody is a chief, or everybody, they don't defend anybody.
No, that's not true. Usually people say Iwenweze, but that's not true. Iwenweze, like that, Igbo people don't have a king, but that's not true. Every community has a leader or there's still hierarchy.
Yeah, it's not just as central as like the north or the south.
What I always hear is that, listen, everybody's a guy in his own place. I don't need to go to anybody to be begging them for anybody.
We have the chiefs, we have the elders.
We have that,
So community can come to the support, and we really need to choose community. Many women don't like going to court to go and pursue cases against family members. You feel like, family, if you go to court, what will not happen? Because long-term, you have a long-term relationship with them. Your children cannot get married without family members, at least in the cultural sense of it. So you now sue family to court. How will you now, when you need them for traditional wedding to come as family members, how would you resolve it? So some women would back out from doing
Let me take Katsina from Tony from Katsina. You're live.
Okay.
Hello, Tony. Go ahead. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm with you.
I'm with you too. Go ahead.
All right.
We are with each other.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay. Please, on this issue, we all have different experiences. I'm in Lagos bred. I mean, I'm from the eastern part of the country, but I'm Lagos bred. I'm Bottas.
And you're living in Castina, okay?
Yes, I'm in Castina. My issue is that some of us have had so nasty an experience with these people in the village, to the point that I have made my own law. I have made my own law. I've buried my parents. It's always culture that they used to oppress people. And something informs my decision. So when you say that somebody was talking about Asaba, I'm from that argument, that they have to change the law, it was something that necessitated it. Yeah. So at this stage now, let me tell you, if for any reason, I don't know, the burial aspect, I've buried my parents, no problem. But when it comes to giving my children out in marriage, my people there in CVC, nobody born of a woman, and I repeat it, nobody born of a woman can force me to go and give out my child in the village. Something informs my decision. I am the one nurturing them. I'm the one that has labored. I know what they did to my own father when he was giving out his own daughter, which is my sister. We have to do it, and let me not go there. So please, all this cultural thing, if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. I live my life. I make my life. I'm not talking about religion or anything. People bend it to suit their rubbish thing that they are doing. So for me, I do what is workable for me as long as I don't break the Nigerian law. That is my decision. If
Thank you very much, Tony.
They can go to anywhere. Sorry if I sound a bit hard, but
yeah. Thank you very much, Tony, because what Tony was saying opened another area of this discussion. The head of the family, the man of the house, taking charge. You know, so he is taking charge, saying that as a father, he will not give out his daughter to, he will not succumb to anybody's rules or culture. Yeah. No, that's his own. I agree. But there are people here who have, I know I've experienced this whereby in two cultures, two same culture, but two different religions. One says, when the baby is born, you have to shave the head. The other one says, no, you cannot.
No, we don't shave
head here. And then the two father-in-laws started fighting.
Wow.
Over the fact that you're not shaving this baby's hair. That one said, we must shave it, it's part of our culture. Okay. And they're going back head to head.
The owner of the child, Uncle, the direct owner.
The owner of the child was going with what his own father was. His own father is the Christian.
But the thing is, you know what you just said, this is a major,
it's heavy.
It's a major one because typically you don't own your child. Well, you don't name your child. Like
why?
Culture you collect name. Yeah. You collect name from grandfather, grandmother, aunties, uncles. Everybody will send the names they want to name the child, and all those names must come together. If in birth certificates, I know there are some people who like, you cannot put, if you don't put my name inside the birth certificate, as in like the father of...
Where will you see the birth certificate?
They are
Can I say something, Tope?
When Yoruba are doing naming ceremony, you can have like 30 names because everybody will say, I must add my own name.
So can I say?
It's a beautiful culture.
It's a beautiful culture, but we must start it from the beginning. You know, like how this seed sprouts. So the nuclear family is the first point of contact, and then it extends to the extended family. You have a problem where the extended family is in charge of what is happening in the nuclear family. You, the man in the question, and your wife, you have failed. The man most especially has failed that woman and her children. Where is uncles and aunties and grandma and grandpa that determines what happens in your home? So the name that you're going to call your children. Not be you help me carry on for 9 months. Where you go bring, I will take your name and they will mention all the names on that day, but I determine the name that comes into the certificate. In fact, you know when we're doing the naming ceremony and then my father-in-law will ask my husband, where is the name now? Which name are we giving to so-and-so? My husband said, let me go and ask my wife. I had the names of my children from NYSC. Yes.
Okay.
NYSC.
Let me
So,
pause you for a
okay,
second.
hold
I'm
on.
going to commercial break.
Oh, wow.
I have a perfect story to also add to yours. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing all related issues to the culture, to the culture matter. And we're talking about names. And I remember my brother, I was leaving my brother in the US. And I remember that when he had the first child, my mother's first grandchild was coming. And I know we're coming from a Muslim family. So there's a man, Papa Thompson.
Okay.
Papa Thompson there was almost 100. He named all my brothers.
Oh.
He named me. He named all of us. So there was this sentiment of, he named all of us. So since he's still alive,
Let
he must
him name so and
this
so.
my brother's first child. And so we're all waiting for him to come Papa Thompson now. Because we're from a Muslim family. So my brother's wife, now she was raised in Italy, so she's a Nigerian, but she's very Uniboish. So she was hoping for like a Khadija, Fatima, those nice Halima, nice.
What name did they give?
I will not mention international.
But it's a local name, right?
I said a Muslim name. When she's just like, what is this? I'm like,
She can't even pronounce the name.
no, you're not naming my child. My brother like, eh? Papa Thompson, you are going to name. No, you're not giving my child that name. There was a fight in the house.
There will be.
Eventually, she had no choice. My brother had his way. But that name, because Papa Thompson sent it, she had to put that name in the birth certificate.
Wow.
So tomorrow, I don't think that child ever used that name.
Before. She will call the child something else.
There's Khadija now, there's the other. This one, is it in the Quran?
Yeah.
You have to go and look for it. They have to defend that yes in the Quran. But I understand that issue of culture where people have that sentiment to certain things because of this how we've been doing it. But hey, as you said, culture is evolving.
Yeah.
We must only do it to fit. There's something you're going to say before we went on the break, or?
Yes, I wanted to we don't have English names. I don't have an English name, right? And then my siblings now are giving their kids English names, and the first name is always my brother and the wife that have a say. Then the middle name, my parents or their spouses or the in-laws, they give the name, so they decide which one goes. So I think it's okay if the parents and grandparents have a say. That's a nuclear family, but when you now start getting to extended family and everyone,
They're not the one calling the shots.
not the Papa Thompson.
Yeah. So let me also add something to what Amaka said. So I believe that a child, when you get pregnant and a child is given to you, by the Almighty, the child is given to you because you are there as the guide, the nurturer. It's not your child, basically. You are just there to usher in another soul and nurture them to the best of your ability. And sometimes when God wants to speak concerning the child's life, they don't speak to grandma, grandpa, uncle, auntie. They speak to the immediate family. That's either the mother that's birthing the child.
It's now we know that too.
No, we didn't know. And culture is evolving now. So that's why I'm saying that you must own the process for your children. And a man must be able to insist to say, Mommy, Daddy, I know you people have names, so give me, it will be among the second, third, fourth, fifth names. But you see, this first name is something I should agree with my wife, not your mother, not your father, because you want to be a good child and please them. And then insist. So you must take up, it's my home now. I'm the patriarch of this home. You are the patriarch of our own extended family. That's the grandfather and our father-in-law and all of it. But when it comes to my home, I'm in charge here. Take your space.
In fairness, in that my brother's story, he himself did not fancy that name because he resisted.
Yeah, he was skeptical.
He was just, it's a sentiment.
Yeah.
So sometimes we must encourage our men to just take charge. Even go with.
There's a way you do it politely. So let me add something small. So my husband is very close to his parents. He's not one to tell them no. He doesn't tell them no, right? But he can tell them okay, then he will still do what we have agreed. So he found a way to balance it. So he manages their emotions, but he will still do what we have agreed because he understands and apologize later. So you can, if you're not that kind of man that will say outright no. Like me, once my mother or my father, they are bringing something I don't like, you are hearing no before you finish the sentence. So they know me. But that's not how my husband operates. But we found the fine line of working with them. So we manage their emotions and then make them understand that this is my decision at the end of the day.
Culturally, we're brought up to have fear for the system, and we don't question people that are older than us. So it's a tough call. Back to the story of those are our three witches. It also might be part of the reasons why this thing had prolonged for that long, because you would look at it that how would I approach it? They are older. Maybe they are older. Maybe they are in a place of authority because they have like a prayer ministry. So there's a spiritual side and then there's a cultural side, and we need to find a way to be able to express ourselves in a way that I don't have to agree with you, but I would let you know that I'm not going to do what you said, or I really will not. I have someone that is still single till she's single. She had a serious relationship, like very serious relationship with someone that was from a different region. And her parents insisted, no, she will not marry. And me, we're in the same boat around the same time. I was also facing parents who were saying no. I told her, you tell them that you are going to marry this person. You will tell them. You will pray, you will do, but you will tell them. She couldn't.
Oh,
she
wow.
broke up the relationship. When me, I was like, Mommy,
we die here.
This thing.
Probably regretting.
But we had the conversation, actually. We did have a conversation about 5 years ago. And she was like...
But she married somebody else?
No, she didn't.
She's still not married?
Yes. But the person was a good relationship.
Jesus
But
Christ.
it was just... And we were neighbors. We grew up in Malta together. So I knew the parents. I was like, the parents don't carry fire on their head now. You can approach them and you even have option. You have a sibling. I didn't even have any sibling. That was the only way they could do this. So
I remember we had a story that the lady who was over 50 sent something happened to her that I think hers was religion. She was a Christian, and the love of her life was a Muslim, and he really, really loved her, and they loved each other. And her parents insisted that this marriage cannot be unequally yoked. And since that time, she never, and right now she regrets because she has buried her parents, but she's filled with resentment.
Yes,
she never listened to them. So I guess we also have to find a middle ground, because they also tell you that what your mother can see sitting down, you cannot see standing up. So it's the same thing. So how do we relate it? How do we? Can we?
Okay, but I want to say something, as in, because I want to go back to the woman and the corpses, because where they said that the three witches took the corpses of the lady.
Three sisters. Three sisters.
And witches. Yeah, witches.
Three sisters. Well, you know how, like, when they say the person that is in charge of the corpse is in charge of every other thing, because for you to have kept a corpse in the mortuary in these hard times, you're paying weekly, or is it daily or monthly for
Let them pay.
That means there's money. We need to take that into consideration, right? And then are the sisters taking the money from the woman? Is that what is giving them control over the property? Because they need to keep paying.
And they using that death certificates.
Yes, because are they using that as a way of siphoning money from this woman that they are paying? They need money for the mortuary. They need money for. Do you understand? So there are different angles to the story. Exactly.
I wanted to correct. That's another angle we look at it. Because those women, obviously, there's something they are benefiting from retaining and withholding that family. I never just know.
Yeah, to add a little to the other one where, you just gave an example of a woman who wasn't able to marry the person she wanted, and then after parents are dead, she still feels pain and resentment.
You're supposed to know better.
Yeah, they are supposed, I like that word. You just helped me. Supposed to know better.
I'm really sure.
Not all of them know better. And that's why, as a woman who is getting ready to be married, you must hear for yourself. Nobody should hear on your behalf. Your mother cannot hear on your behalf. Your father cannot hear. You can take their counsel and listen to them, but you must have enough discerning spirit to know that this is it for me, and be okay with the consequence of they are not giving me their blessings, and I'm fine.
And if you enter and it comes out wrong, own
it.
Yeah.
I goof, yes, it's me. Own it. Because sometimes we assume that because they don't give us their blessing, that we enter and it will not be right. The ones they gave blessing, how many is right? It's not by like that. It's about knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you see. I always use myself as an example. I got stories of, he's not the one, prayers flying up and down. I say he's the one to me. Because the prayer you are praying, you are not the ones dating this guy. You are not the ones seeing that he has focused. You're not the one seeing how he respects me, even more than all of you that are giving me these prayers. You're not seeing that. So this is where I am going. And at the end of the day, they didn't have a choice. Prayer had to change. When prayer changed, prayer came back to me. I said, hey, oh, God is not seeing better now. Me, I've already seen before this, your God saw this one. So you must be able to own your, and even if I had entered and it was wrong, it's okay. I made the mistake. Yes. I will own it with my full chest. Yes. And it doesn't stop my life.
Yes, Amaka.
So like I'm from a very close-knit family and I had similar experience, right? And you need to understand sometimes, depending on how we're brought up, I'm a very stubborn, I'm a very, very stubborn person.
You can tell.
Anybody that knows me, like you said, that before they bring the matter to the table, they know. I'm that child, I'm very outspoken. But when it came to that issue of marriage, for some reason, that stubbornness left me.
Wow.
And then because for me it was important, like how can I get married without my parents being there?
Oh, wow.
Without my family being there. I've always been in that family unit. I'm from a very, very extremely
so you
close.
let go of a man because
right? No, then like you talked about hearing. And then I now had a dream that wasn't very pleasant to me. I don't know if that dream was out of fear, because sometimes dreams can come in different ways and be triggered by different things. But I just didn't want to take that chance. And so I started questioning certain things and then questioning the fact that if this guy was so crazy about me, in fact, he should stay to the end or should choose my path. Then you not find that I start making certain excuses, and age also matters. You know, you find out that when you're more mature, you will have handled certain situations differently than it actually is. So you know, people were all different and different situations you handled.
Yeah, just this is the tip of the iceberg. Don't worry, we'll enter this story. Never.
You will give us the juice, around it.
We'll juice it out, but what has gone? We can't juice it today. We've gotten the idea now. We'll come and we'll penetrate next time. That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. No comments. I think I have 1 minute left. No calls. No social media.
Social media. So you two people yabbed me today very well. And I was not in the mood to reply. I woke up on a good side. Let me leave that. I'm not reading any of their messages today.
But they are telling you they love you now. And Oluwapo says, I love BC.
Okay, thank you.
See love. So someone, Moyishala says, elders that don't take good care of deceased will want to have a say during the burial. So yes, you were not present when they were alive, but you are showing up.
That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.